Later on, I will be considering consultations for the group and some updates on your research, particularly with your final output. Where are you right now in your final output, and at the same time, the progress of your report. Okay. So, talking about lesson two, by the way, there will be no attendance sheet that will be circulated since the recorded meeting will serve as your attendance. So, I can monitor who is online right now, particularly around 9 o'clock after I press the recorded button. So, that will serve as your attendance. So, don't you worry. And I hope that you have a stable connection as a hybrid class. You have to consider your internet connectivity, okay? Considering that the weather is not good right now, no? So there might be some signals that might be fluctuating. So please inform me ahead of time if your signal is bad due to weather conditions so that I'll give consideration, okay? Okay. Who is the mayor, Kani? Miss Teves, are you the mayor? Is that the mayor na? Is that the mayor na to diri, guys? Hello?
Si Teva, sir.
Naman siya? Wala pa? O late gani si Teves, no? So, sige lang. 9:10 siguro, no? Mo consider na kog explanation letter ana or kundi gani demerit sa ato ang class. Karon kay pati man ang connection, so I'll be considering, okay? So, okay, I'm also recording
Sir,
our
excuse me,
presentation.
sir.
You raise your hand if you want to talk. Yes.
Sir, Teves is with me, sir, pero wala siya naka-answer ganina katong imong gitawag, sir, kay hina iyahang connection, sir.
Sige. Okay, that's fine, no? So anyway, no,
Sir.
so how can I monitor if you are in? Muna akong pangutana. You should in the Google Meet so that you will be registered in the attendance. Because if your name is not in the attendance, no, I will ask you to write an explanation letter. Okay? So it's very important that you have to log in before 9:10 so that you'll be registered. Makita man na ako kung kasi nag-log in, log out. Okay? But anyway, kana lang siya. Ah, okay, so let's continue with our discussion. So I hope that you are not in bed, you're in your working station. Later on, I'll ask you to open up your cameras. Make sure that you are in your type B uniform or you are presentable, no? At that time, because we are also considering this one as a kuan, kanang lecture proper, no? Dili ni siya yung chill-chill lang ni siya karon. Okay. So talking about lesson 2, no? We need to have an introduction to various methods of data collection used in research. I'm pretty sure that you already have in your mind how do we get data in terms of collecting this one when we try to do the methodology of our research. So it's significant. So it's somehow choosing the right data collection method, which is crucial for obtaining valid and reliable data. Very important, no, that we are going to choose what method are we going to consider. So say, for example, a method which is which somehow you consider technology, so you will be circulating Google Forms in terms of collecting data of your research. It depends. Some students would consider face-to-face because it's easier for them to collect. The retrieval rate is high compared to the using of Google Form. And of course, our main objective is really to understand different methods and their application to enhance research quality. So surveys are used to collect data from a large number of respondents efficiently. I'm pretty sure you know what's a survey already, no? It's somehow a scale, which is a Likert scale that is being given to your respondents. If you are going for a qualitative way of doing so, surveys are not actually applicable because you will be creating different questions that you'll be throwing to your respondent if it is a qualitative research. But surveys are quantifiable. So it's really included with your quantitative data collection. We also have online, as mentioned earlier, the pen and paper, no, which is the traditional way of doing so. Face to face, particularly interviews, as much as we can. No, if there are mixed method or MMR, mixed method research, we do survey and face to face interview, and also telephone survey. No, if you have ample loads and the one that you are serving has a lot of time to answer the phone or pick up the phone to answer your surveys, that can also be effective. Now, what are advantages and disadvantages? No, so when you talk about survey, it's really cost effective. Just print it. No, you can even use a scratch paper in printing your survey. No, or somehow newsprint. You can also use that for it to be cost effective, not necessarily a one paper, for as long as it's presentable and readable. And the most important thing, they can understand the item of the survey or questionnaire that they're answering, no? And also with survey, it can reach a large audience. However, there might be some disadvantages because the risk of bias, no? Tendency is mag-check-check na lang jud ang atong mga respondents. It's because they don't have any more the time to read the item, or probably the item is too lengthy. Okay? For interviews, very important that we have to involve direct or even face-to-face, or you can utilize the technology for virtual interaction to gather your detailed information. It's very important that you also have to value the time of the respondents. No, you have to schedule it on time. You should not go directly to the office of your respondent or to a place where you can find your respondent and do interview. With your interviews, it would somehow take time because it's not only the verbal cues that you are getting. However, you're also getting as to what you've observed during interview. So say, for example, the eye-to-eye contact, no? The attention of your respondent is also very important for you to note if they're really sincere in answering the survey. Another thing is that when these type of interviews would somehow include structure, that means to say that you are making the questions by your own. It's validated if it's a researcher made instrument, no? In our next lessons, for lesson 6 to 10, that would be content validity index, no? We'll try to check, no, if what you are creating as a researcher is really effective, or ang inyong gibuot-buot would somehow be considered as valid. Because if it's made by the researcher, we need to go for a content analysis and validation, no, by pilot testing and asking panel of experts to review your questionnaire. However, if it's structured, say, for example, with the qualitative method, you've already used a structured questionnaire. No need for you to pilot it because it's already standardized. The same thing as surveying, no? We've mentioned in the past lesson that when you talk about standardized, nahimo na siya. It's already been made, right? There are already studies that were conducted when we try to circulate the survey to the respondents. Okay? And somehow there's also an unstructured interviews. What do you mean by this one? These are ad libs, no? So meaning what is not found in the questionnaire, if there are probing questions that you need to throw just to make sure to identify, no, certain theme that you would like to identify during the interview, very important that you also throw questions which are necessary and relatable. Disadvantages and advantages. Advantage, deep insight, no, because you can, the respondent can really expound their answers. They can cite situation, they can cite examples, no. Another thing is flexible. Due to technology, you can do your interview through virtual, no. You can utilize Zoom or Gmeet, no. That's actually part of your email. You can generate a link and then somehow give it to the respondent, saying that's what we're doing right now. Okay. However, the disadvantages are time consuming, of course, because you will be sitting down together with a respondent, and it would really take time, no? Sometimes you won't be catered that much, no, of her time because she might be busy as to what she's doing. It's not the perfect timing, even though it was scheduled. Okay. And of course, potential interviewer bias. No, there are times na we would like to end the interview, it's because your respondent is not anymore attended about what you're doing. Another thing is that too short questions and you're not able to really go on deeper as to what really is, no? The answer of your questions that are being thrown. Tendency is you might be able to interpret it in a wrong way during the results and interpretation of data in your chapter 2. Focus group discussion. This one is a good one, no? It involves the entire group. So when you talk about interview, it's one-on-one. As mentioned in the previous slide, when you say focus group, it might be the first or second person as part of your respondents, no? You will be able to discuss gather diverse perspective on a topic because they might be able to have the same answers and can somehow expound it, relate with each other as to their answers, and somehow contradict. No, mo na sila kapait kay sometimes maglalis na. So if it is a focus group discussion, make sure that the structured questions that you're making would somehow entail no of um guiding your respondents in a way that they can answer correctly as to what really is the theme that you're really extracting and what's really the thought, no, that you are getting from them. Typically, when you talk about focus group discussion, 6 to 12 participants, as mentioned by Beck and Pollitt, no, in the book of Beck and Pollitt, is too much. Okay. However, I suggest na if it's an FGD, probably 3 to 4, maximum of 5 siguro, in order for you to identify, know what really is are the answers are, no, and at the same time, what they really wanted to tell you based on the questions that you've thrown to them. And at the same time, I suggest na if it's a focus group discussion, I believe that it can really save you time. There are a lot of you in a group, so a lot of you can somehow observe what is going on during the interview. Okay, there should be a moderator to avoid overlapping, no, of answers and even preset of questions, of course, that we are going to give them. Prior to the interview, you can give the questionnaire ahead of time. So you can actually give it a day or two before, the day of the interview, even with a one-on-one interview, for your respondents to be guided and they'll be aware already of what are the questions are. So what are the advantages and disadvantages? So it's actually with the rich qualitative data because it's really interactive. You can really get a lot of answers. The more answers that you get is also tiring, no? Because you will be treating that. And if there are certain answers that keeps on repeating during the interview, that can be considered as part of your thematic analysis or your focus in terms of the discussion of your results. Disadvantages, group thinking, no? It might be generalizable. So some would say, pwede na to iya, sakto na to siya iya. Wala ko ikasumpay, kaya nag-iingot tanan. No? So usually that's the disadvantage. Observations, very important that you also have to activate your senses because this involves systematically, no, by watching and recording behaviors and events during the time of interview. Okay, it's very important that you are not just talking to them and listening with their answers, but you also you need to be a keen observant, no, in terms of using your eyes, your sight, and also active listening is very important. No, so in terms of observation, there are two types, no, participant and non-participant observation. So when you say participant, you're focused more into the person that you're interviewing. Non-participant is the environment during the interview. So make sure when you do your interview, you also have to consider as well, no, if it's really conducive for the interview, because there are times that you might be interviewing this nurse or the student in the classroom, and there are a lot of classmates there, no, who are listening during the interview. It can somehow cause distraction. Somehow would provide a biased answers, no, or biased results. Advantages and disadvantages, real world data and context rich. Why? Because you were able to identify not just what they are talking about, at the same time your observations based on their gestures. However, there might be some observers bias, no, because what you observe is somehow different from the other researchers. No, so say for example, you're working as a group, you think that the patient was really was really conscious during the interview, but the other one would somehow say that she's just so natural. No? So there might be no observer's bias at that time. No, so you can it's actually just minor. You can even talk about it, and also time consuming. Why? Because it would really take time for you to observe as well with the surroundings and even with the participant. No, aside from the answers and what comes out in her mouth or in her word of mouth, no, it's usually consuming because you also have to consider as well the post interview portion. No, you also have to check if you're going to end it, no, what is going on with the surroundings, what is going on with the participant, pre, during, and post. Okay, and also the conditioning of your patient, of your respondent. So experiment. So experiment involves manipulating variables to test hypotheses and observe effect. No, so there are times that students would really somehow consider experiments. Okay, but it would somehow take time. It really depends into your study. Because if it's really experimental, tendency is it will really take time because you will be testing the variables. And this includes, no, if you're a scientist or if you're even a medical doctor, usually it is done in the laboratory or in the field and even in the natural experiments, no? However, right now, as what I've noticed with the study of the students, they're more focused on into the school or to the nursing students or even with the community, which is good because it's relevant to our practice, no? In the academe and you as a student. So what are our advantages and disadvantages? So we do have control over variables, no? When we do Manggod, no, when we talk about control of variables, we are trying to manipulate, no, the independent variables at that time. So the researcher has a control. So say for example, um, uh, if we are going to consider a research, no, about a student's performance in terms of his or her academics as a second year student, first things first is considering the status of the student without giving intervention. Okay, unsa man jud, what is really going on if on that particular time, no? By not giving intervention or by not giving instant certain plans for that student, then on the succeeding days, no, it would take around a week or 2 weeks or even a month or even months, no? Now you're going to introduce an intervention. So probably as a researcher, we're considering peer mentoring. And then peer mentoring is being introduced. You're controlling right now, no? Your respondent or the study. You are giving interventions of having peer mentoring. So say for example, a student who is an who's able to get a high score, no, is being ranked in first, no, in class, would somehow mentor those who have low scores in the previous months, no, of the subjects. So say for example, maternal and child one nursing, maternal and child one nursing, no. So tendency is you're going to check if these students after peer mentoring or mentoring, no, from those who are really intelligent students in the class would somehow improve, okay, the condition of the respondent. So that's what it means in terms of experimentation. Okay. There are times, no, can it be considered as experimental if you don't do intervention? Dili siya pwede. Ikaw na makaga-experiment, no? So that's just a very good example. You are looking into the previous versus the present. All right. Disadvantages lang, it might be with an artificial setting. What we mean by artificial setting, you might be considering, no, na you might be assuming, okay, in terms of providing intervention. So what if lang, no, for example, katong mentoring, what if mag-mentor lang siya or buta na nato na mentoring. We can consider it as with an artificial setting if it's not being implemented. Okay. And also ethical concerns. Because sometimes, no, when you talk about ethical concerns, there are a lot of hindrances. No? So say, for example, they might not be okay in terms of having the intervention. No? So we'll be looking for a perfect respondent who would somehow consider experimentation based on what you are studying. Questionnaires is the same thing as your tool or instrument, the same thing as with survey, because sometimes survey is just a yes or no, no? When we talk about questionnaire, it's somehow being in a presentation of a Likert scale. So katong strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree, katong ang mga scaling, no? So it's standardized set of questions used to collect data from the respondents and that would somehow include open-ended or close-ended questionnaires. Okay, so when you talk about the structure, it is the item, no? Katong number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wala siya. What are the advantages and disadvantages? So same as with survey, it's just easy to administer. You just provide a questionnaire to the respondent and can collect large amount of data. No? So if you are considering the entire population of the second year student, you will be able to gather data for the second year students by distributing questionnaires. No? Irregardless if they wanted to participate with your study, because there are some students who would really don't want to participate in the study. So we also have to respect that as part of ethical consideration. Disadvantage, somehow limited depth because you're not doing interviews. No, there are times when what is really in the item are the only ones that they have to answer. No, there are times that respondents might question, no, na ma'am, kulang ra lagi kay ang data ani, no? However, it's standardized, no? It was run through pilot testing, series of studies are already been conducted, and it can be part of the limitation of the study in your discussion in chapter 3. And of course, possible misinterpretation of the question. That is why the researcher should be at the side of the respondents when the respondent answer the questionnaire. Not just, oh ma'am, kuani man mo, answering, balik ko na nako ha, o kana, may na examples, no? So, you should be at the side of the respondent, no, when they try to answer it. And you also have to give them time to answer. No? So, we have to respect if they say na, later na lang ni ko, ma'am, after na ko out. Okay, because there are times that they also trying to decipher what's really in the item for them, not for us, not to get biased results. Case studies, this is what you're doing right now. A very good example on this is your case study of a certain disease during your RLE, if you're familiar in that, no? So these studies involves a detailed examination of a single subject or case to explore complex issue. So as you notice, when you try to do your case study, actually your case study presentation can be publishable, no? However, no, only we're not actually venturing that, you know, in terms of publication, but it can be. However, we really have to consider ethical consideration because there's already an involvement of the case of the patient. No, sometimes we might be dealing with ethical consideration during publication, but we're doing this one for compliance, right? For us to master the certain case, no, which is related to maternal and child diseases or even with medical surgical nursing. So as you can see, no, this includes selection or selecting the case. You identify a patient, you collect data through various methods. However, through interviews, no, we are doing that to our patient, particularly with the assessment, no, very important of your cephalocaudal, and how you try to analyze the findings. So when you try to analyze the findings, that includes your NCP and your FDAR as part of the presentation. Your pathophysiology, right? Or even your anatomy, the structures involved in the case, no? Or to the diseases or to the disease that are being identified or is identified, right? So there are advantages and disadvantages as well. So when you talk about the advantages, it's really detailed. There are a lot of insights that you can get. It's because you will be able to interview the patient and you can correlate it in the chart. And at the same time, these are useful for the generation of your hypotheses. Okay. The reason why we can generate hypotheses because there might be some assumption that can be proven right or wrong, right? Or if there is an hypothesis, we are considering it to be right and we are not expecting it to happen. Because if it will happen, that means to say that it has a positive result, and a positive result would coincide with a positive interpretation. A disadvantage lang is not generalizable, no? It's good. For me, it's actually not generalizable. That means to say it's specific, right? So it can be a great advantage, no? The only reason it's not generalizable because it's focused more into one patient only. Okay, time consuming because no, it will take a week for you to extract the data of your patient, right? You have to do series of interview. There are times that you also observe your patient, right? In the room, okay? As to how they manifest the signs and symptoms, no? How they manifest it, and you're trying to correlate it with theory, right? So it's really time consuming, but at the end, it's really a great feeling that we can somehow defend the case study being presented to the clinical instructor or even to the panelists, no? There are times na natin mga panelists na maglingkod for the culmination or culminating activity. Document analysis involves examining existing documents to gather data. So you go to the medical records and try to check if these data are present. No, sometimes you are considering retrospective study. No, so imong gipangita ang previous na mga chart o imong gipangita o kung sa imong gustong studyhan. This includes reports that also includes letters or even emails, even transcript, and even official records that is found in the medical record. Or if your study is not about in the hospital setting, in the offices, no? The only disadvantage and advantages are advantages you have the large access of these data, and at the same time it's cost effective because you are just doing retrograding, no, meaning to say imo lang siyang gitanaw ang previous. Okay, the only disadvantage bias lang po siya because sometimes what we observe is documented and limited context. So what if, no, if you're going to look at the chart, it is not available based on what you're looking for. No patients admitted in the hospital based on the question of your research. Pwede po na siya, limited lang. No? So we have to venture a different hospital if you can access. Another disadvantage that I can see is the Data Privacy Act, right? Because if you're going to do document analysis, how sure are you that you can get and see the patient's chart without the approval of so many personnel who's protecting the data privacy of your patient, no? Especially right now, no? DPA right now is 200 siya, no? Really rampant, not just in the hospital, but also in school. Okay, a very good example po diyan, guys, in document analysis, if we're going to look into the grades of the student, okay, you also have to consider ethical considerations for that. No, you're going to check what are the grades of these students in the previous semester compared to they are already in their second semester, no, if that is your study. So for those students who are considering to access the grade, mas maayo pang mangutana na lang ka, no, sa respondent. Grade in maternal and child nursing. Okay, 1. Pila man imong grade? Oh, niya kung tinuod ba po ang iba kay usahay bias, no? Umuta na ako flat 1, no? Sana all flat 1. Major. Field notes. So field notes are detailed records of observation majoring field research. It's more into observation of the surroundings and environment, no? And how do we make sure to take effective field notes? We have to consider the description of the setting, what is going on. So you also have to document that activities and even the interactions. You also have to consider the date and time as to when it did happen and use direct quotes when possible if there are. No? However, it's more into the observation of the environment. So say, for example, you're an environmentalist and you're considering, considering the weather right now. So you are looking into what is going on with the current situation or what's going on with the weather condition of these days, no? One of this week, kana siya, imo na siyang i-note sa imuhang field notes. And at the same time, the good thing about this is that you will be able to get, rich context. It's because you yourself is the one who's observing it. No, the only disadvantage is time consuming because you will be waiting for another day to observe again the weather, comparing it from the previous weather. And of course, there might be potential for observers bias because for me, para na ako wala gauwan, tinuod siya gauwan, ako inot na siya gauwan kana mga ingon ana no pagpamakap na makuha lang jud ang data. Pwede na siya actually, guys, no, na babuhat nimo, pero during the results and interpretation, the panelists will be able to identify if it's really a falsification of data that was being gathered. Mabantayan dyan na siya sa statistical treatment, no? Content analysis. So when we talk about content analysis, this is more into systematic coding and interpreting textual data to identify patterns and themes. So say, for example, you're doing quali, no? And when you're doing quali research, your respondent keeps on saying, mao jud ni siya, ako my experience, mao jud ni siya, kay mao ni, ana. And another respondent would say, yes, just the same thing. No, we're experiencing the same. Okay. So that's already been considered as your pattern and can be considered as part of your analysis because it keeps on repeating again and again during the interview. For as long as what they keep on repeating is relevant to your title and topic. Of course, you will not be making questions in your qualitative study without considering po its reliability na kana jud siya nga topic ang hindi considered, no? Okay? And also, the process that includes selecting the content, defining categories, coding the data, no? So, mag-code ka. So, pirmi gawas, ani nga study. So, for example, the study is considering the health of nursing students of online learning. Most of the students would say back pain during online learning. Pero karon, no? Sakit ang imuhang buko-buko, na naminaw nako. Another student would be saying na sakit siya kaya nga akong buko-buko every time mag-lesson si ma'am kaya silang kong lingkod ana. And then you do the coding. So buko-buko pila naman ikabuko sa duha tulo, no? However, there is an application on that, guys. For as long as it's been translated into English, makita niya unsa nga tingog gasig balik-balik. No need for you to identify on what they are talking about based on the transcription. No, nindot siya nga application. Nila ko musaba kay makapula na mo. So inang pangitag application nga mapaspas na no nindot yun na you will be able to experience what the researcher of the traditional kanang scenario pa jud before, no, and what they're really doing. You can actually do that because you'll be working as a group. Pwede man ang usa mo tanawan niyo. So studyuhi ko no ni day o ikaw na po kitang lima magstudyo tabi unsa man siya magbalik-balik na to. Oh, na ako'y usa din ni on nagsigig balik-balik ningon siya na kani. O pareho ta, halo ako sad. O, theme na nimo. Anak, no? Unless kung ikaw ray researcher, kapoy jud kay ikaw ra usa. Advantages and disadvantages. So you can handle large volume of data, right? If you're working as a group. At the same time, the one that you are getting coming from your patients provides quantitative and qualitative insights. And the disadvantages, time-consuming nandiyan siya, no? Kay imagine na mag-transcribe pa ka into English ang Bisaya. Libo pa kung saan ito English ani day. Nga ikahuman nimong transcribe ana imo na sa nang tanawon kung saan silik balik-balik. Nga daghan pa ka ng questions kita nang answer niya, you're going to take down notes, no? Even though that it's irrelevant. So for example, talkative ka ang imuhang na lucky are you if it's really talkative because you can get rich information. What if hilong mapud kay siya? Wala sa kay data niya. Limited na kayo. Kasi for example, so sir, I just would like to ask, what are the signs that you've experienced or signs and symptoms that you've experienced during your online class? What man? Isa may malipay on no nga. Siya mong napili, nga mura na yung answer, no? So, bati. Sometimes, sir, kung talkative po, daghan kayo, yung mo na siyang i-transcribe. At the same time, coding scheme, no? So, it's up to you. Kulur-kuluran ba ni mo bread? Mag-use pa ka og stabilo, depende na nimo, okay? Or kung di gani mo lang na in-note, mag-notes ka, na siya, no? So that's your coding scheme. Mixed method or MMR, it's more into combining quali and quanti data collection and analysis of your technique. So you're using both qualitative and quantitative method in a single study to provide a more comprehensive understanding. So say for example, you are not convinced with a quantitative, kulang na jud kaayos tanan ang questionnaire. Gusto jud ko magmugna pa jud ako kay gusto jud ko i-validate nako. Gusto pa jud ko mag-add og usa ka question. So please cite example of your ana, no? So you are considering an MMR, no? Or mixed method research. Always remember, guys, no? Na the more questions that you write in your questionnaire, the more that you're going to interpret, no? However, if it's standardized, it's a no-no for you to delete an item, right? If it's standardized, you really have to run everything, what is really seen in the questionnaire. Okay? Kung ikay naghimo, depende na siya because validation of the content expert, no, or the one who's evaluating, who's expert on the field, can somehow suggest, oh, i-delete lang ni, oy, kay wrong man imong gihimo. Layo naman kay tsanan. sa kamatuoran, no? Magkagamay, no? So bati pud kaayo may pa-answer nga item sa imong respondent, lima ra pud ka buok nga konti, no? As much as possible, you have to consider sub-themes as well, no, of your study, sub-themes of your variables. Kanay mong variables na gistudihan ninyo karon na pa ni mga sub-theme, sure jud ko. So makita na nato din ha, no, unsay mga questions ana. Okay? So this provides richer data because you're doing quanti-quali, no? At the same time, you are training yourself with statistics on this, with the interpretation, and at the same time, you'll be able to balance the strengths and weaknesses of both data. To say, for example, the weakness is it's not really enough on what is really stipulated in the items of the quanti. So I have to consider to balance it with my quali skills. Interview tabi. Okay, so pwede po na siya. More complex than siya and really time consuming, and it's not cost effective because you will be paying for the statistician, or you might be paying again for a certain application to treat your data for quali ana siya, no? But I'm not discouraging you na dili magingon ana. I'm just giving you the pros and cons for you to have an idea. Okay, to conclude, we have to summarize and summarize this one. No? Let's review the different method of data collection covered for this lesson. We also have emphasized the need to choose suitable methods for valid and reliable data. And we have to consider you to further explore and apply these methods in your research. Okay, that's what I'm considering as well. Okay, let's proceed to lesson 3. Are you still alive? Buhit pa mo guys. Agin sa mo. Gamay ra lagi ta, 25 ra lagi ta kabuo. Asa naman ding upan. Ha? Wala, nangatog pa. Bad weather. Yes. What is it, Miss Bangalos? Mongalos.
Ay, nataplokan niya to, sir.
Okay. Let's proceed now with lesson 3 because we still have 4 more lessons. Okay. So I hope you have an idea, no? So which are you doing? Which particular data collection are you doing right now? Quanti, quali, mixed method, sa man, GGB na ba ang tanan or not? O paghihapon ta nagpa-ethics, bantay lang jud na magpa-explain na jud ko nga anong wala pa ka nagpa-ethics kung mga panahon na. Dapat ang kanahiyong paper na nana sa ethics, no? Wala pa yung paper nga wala sa ethics, okay? So tomorrow, before I forget, okay, we will be meeting face-to-face, right? For lesson 6 to 10. We will be also checking your SAS. So please bring your yellow pad. Katong nasa yellow pad, kato lang yung letters and yung mga answers. And at the same time, the rationale. Maura, for lesson 1 to 10, manatong checkan because that's part of your P1 grade. Okay? Measurement of variables. So we have to consider the measurement of variables, which is really crucial in collecting and analyzing data accurately in research. Another thing is that we have to be accurate because it's important, no, and try to measure these data, which ensures valid atong gibuhat and reliable. And it's not about mugna. No, we're not doing research because of mugna and research findings. No. Objective. This lesson would somehow cover the different types of variables, the scales of measurement, and ensuring reliability and validity testing. So have you heard the term variables? It's like ubalik-balik ani, no? When you talk about variables are elements. These are features or factors that can be measured or even manipulated in your research. In undergrad, we only encourage you to have one variable of your study, okay? However, there are students who are really good. They want to explore 2 or 3 variables and they want to know its relationship. If it has significant relationship, no? Gusto sila correlational na study, nindot po na siya. Okay? But with undergrad, we don't pressure you on how many variables. Okay? Usa lang. Okay na. Accurate measures of variable is crucial for validity and reliability of research finding because your variables are being studied. Okay? Your variables is found or are found in your title. Mubasa na ikus title, makabaw na dyan ko kanito ni ka variables. However, there come a time na di sana ko ma-identify unless mubasa dyan ko sa paper, no? Variables can be classified into various types such as independent, dependent control, and extraneous. So let's talk about unsa ning tulo. So when you talk about variables, it can be classified with a different type. When you talk about independent, these variables are manipulated or controlled by the researcher to observe their effect on other variable. So say for example, performance and attitude. My independent variable is the performance. It's dependent to the attitude because kung unay attitude ang imuhang staff nurse, dili siya maka-perform og sakto. Ana. Okay? That's because your variable is being manipulated of your second variable. Okay? Now, for your dependent variable, these variables are measured to see how they will be able to affect or they are affected by changes in independent variables. Okay? So, say for example, ang attitude ba nako nga dependent, no? Mo change mo akong attitude kung nindot sa kong performance. Kana. Kung based on nato ang mga assumption lang, pwede jud kay tanan kay mauna, daghan kay mga istorya. But a researcher, we are wise. No, we have given the intelligence to consider it through quantifiable measure. As a researcher, gusto ko makahibaw kung tinuod ba ni through numbers. Okay? Ato ning studyohan. Ato ning himuag statistical data kung tinuod jud ba nga ang performance o ang attitude correlated ba to each other. Ang performance mo taas jud ba based on the results in my chapter 2, based on statistics after they answer the questionnaire, if kung si attitude i-consider good pa. Ana, no? Or what if performance lang imong gipangita, no? Ang performance ba is somehow considerable in terms of what is going on right now with the nurses, no? In Southwestern University Medical Center, performance of staff nurses in Southwestern University Medical Center. Mora jud na siya, nindot kayo ang title, no? Gusto ko makahibaw unsa jud ilang performance. Unsa man nga performance, adpay, gusto ko mag-adpay. Ilang assessment, maayo ba? Ilang diagnosis, maayo ba? Ang ilang planning, implementation, ug evaluation. So mangita og tool ani kung naa ba? There are a lot. No? And this is being guided with Patricia Benner's novice to expert model, di ba? So kana siya makahuna-huna ta ba nga. Di lang iyon kay assumption, daghan kay guna-huna tanang tawo, okay ra man mga performance din na, okay ra man mga nurse din ha, maayo man. But as a researcher, we want to measure unsa sila ka maayo in a sense of what, no? So ingon ana, wa sila kay baw ana guys. Kita na mga researcher, we are curious, no, what we are looking into. So, I believe discuss ani siya sa yung NOR 027, no? Mga fundamentals as to why you wanted to have a research. Okay? When you say control variables, this is really good because if you're doing experimentation, kontrolo ni nako ang performance sa nurses. Magbutang ka og variable. Unsa man na variable, tangan ka nako siya control variable nga knowledge. Performance, attitude, knowledge. So si knowledge, mura siya mo control sa imong performance. Do you think that performance can somehow be correlated with attitude if there is knowledge? Do you think kung walay knowledge, ngayon mo i-introduce din ha? No? Nindot ba ang performance? Kaya si performance nun ka, pero wala ta kay bawas rationale. No, it's totally different na ba yan if you become a staff nurse, no? Daghan naman jud kay kung nabasa anak nga study. They perform very good, no? Student nurses will be amazed of the performance of the staff nurses. It's because they're doing it in a way that they're really independent. And you'll be amazed, maayuha jud niya mo suction. Pwede ra di ay na. But do you know that staff doesn't know what he or she is doing in terms of theory? May nana, no? So, natay gap jud guys sa theory versus practice. If you happen to observe that in the hospital setting. But kung ingon ha nga ang mga staff kay dili ka maot jud tanan, napay uban nga mga balance pod, no? Kay baw sila silang gibuhat, mo explain pa jud sila sa mga tagtungod og pasyente, mabaw-an man gud nimo ang nurse kung mo control ka og variable niya kung na jud siya knowledge about the performance, because when they do the procedure, they rationalize. Ma'am, akong gikuha ng suction, ma'am ha. Akong gitunlob din kay para malubricate ni. Kay kabaw ka, ma'am, kung mag-suction. Ganina mang dugo kay si tatay ato niya. Basing niya dry ra kay ma'am. Pamato akong gilubricate o saline water. Basing nahibong ka, ma'am. So, ana. Pero, ubang nurses, dyan maging na diretso lang suction, no? Para lang dyan ma-alibyuhan ang patient. Tindot po na siya. When you talk about extraneous variable, sometimes this variable kay wala siya gamit guys. So, at during the results interpretation, more lang siya mga non-significant, and on na siya. No? So, however, we also have to consider which is the highest rating and the lowest rating based on the thing that we'll be interpreting in your chapter 2. Di sa tamakay nga na wala siya gamit. But we are just considering that variable because we are looking into consideration with its relationship between the two. No. So these variables are not of interest of the study, but could somehow affect the results if not controlled. Usually, you can appreciate control variables and extraneous variables if you are working with 3 variables. Daghana na gud ana sir. Mo statement of the problem ana sir. Pretty na jung daghana. Of course, daghan jud kaayo, no? These are seen in the dissertations, no? Kanang nag-doctorate level na. Undergraduate, usara man na siya. So, pwede ra hindi usa ka variable. In master's degree, duha na siya ka variable. Usually, there is already an independent and dependent. But control and extraneous variables can be seen with those who are working with dissertation. Okay? Or pwede po siya, napod siya sa master's. Di lang kayo siya makita, no? Kay sometimes, di na kayo mubasa ang reader dito sa interpretation. Di na kayo siya mubasa sa results. Ang gusto niya tanawon, ang abstract na lang o ang summary of the findings, no? Ana baya tanaw-tanaw tagaanta sa tong CI o certain journal anto ra ta sa abstract mo basa unya daghan na kitag assumptions na nasa tong hunahuna without looking into the variables that are being controlled. Okay, so again, let's dig in deeper. Independent variables are factors that researchers manipulate to observe their effect on other variables. So for example, this includes the treatment in an experiment, various level of the factor like temperature or different instructional methods. So say for example, ang temperature would somehow be considered as an independent variable. Then, ang imuhang dependent variable, imong gipa hinayan ng aircon. So what will happen? Ang imong temperature, tendency is, sa man mo taas or mo upos, mo init siya. Alright? So medyo mo taas, kay humid man. Bobo siya kung yung sang super increase ang AC. Okay, so probably ka na siya no more into what you're doing, more into experimentation. So role in research, independent variables are essential for establishing cause and effect relationship in experiment. So usually we're looking into the relationship between this particular research. When we talk about dependent variables are the factors that research measure to see if they are affected by changes in dependent variables. So for example, this includes with a test score, reaction times, or level of a particular hormone. Okay? So, say for example, ang imuhang exam would be an independent variable and the test scores will be your dependent variable. Imong gitanaw no kung iyang score is gamay, what do you think would happen with the performance of the student based on the examination that was given? Okay, another example kaning hormone, maghatag kag tambal sa imong pasyente, no? Ang imuhang pasyente mo depende sa imong gihatag nga tambal kung maayo ba siya or dili, or the treatment, say for example of the hormonal replacement treatment, mo okay ba ang iyang level of hormones, say for example estrogen if given with that pill. Okay, so nagdepende siya, no? The patient's condition would somehow dependent tayo ang patient sa iyang hormone na gitake. So the role of the researcher, dependent variable provide the data needed to determine if the manipulation of independent variable has an effect of what we are doing. Okay? However, right now, guys, the good thing about your study, na may mga variables. Kaning siya, this is crucial with NOR 027 because they have to think first the variables that they would like to study. So, kamo, di naman na pwede ma-change ang inyong research. Mo naman jud na, kaya mo man i-approve sa panel, no? So, control variables are factors that are kept constant to prevent them from influencing the outcome of the experiment, no? So, Sige lang kag-introduce niya, pero dili na nimo siya ma-manipulate. Okay, a very good example would include the temperature in the lab, no? Sige kag-introduce og init, sige kag-introduce og bugnaw, pero di na nimo siya hilabta, di nimo siya ma-adjust. So, say for example, ang imong gi-introduce na init, kay kanhi lang sa imuhang tingon ani nga Celsius, hindi mo siya pwede patasan, hindi mo siya pagamyan. Ang kabugnaw po, di mong gi-introduce niya, di mo siya pwede ma-increase, di mo siya pwede ma-decrease. Kaya imo man siyang gi-control lang, no, ang temperature. The time of the day when the experiment is conducted or the type of equipment that is being used. So rolling research control variables help ensure that the results of the experiments are due to the manipulation of the independent variable and not other factors. Okay, so it runs into your study only, no? Then questionnaire, standardized sets of questions used to collect data from respondents. Okay, so why it is being introduced? Because when we try to measure these variables, it can be through questionnaire. So pwede na po na ang check system. So that includes open-ended and closed-ended questionnaire as mentioned earlier. And it's just easy to administer as mentioned earlier with a large amount of data that can be retrieved. However, the disadvantage would be limited and possible misinterpretation of the questions if these respondents are not guided. Case studies, the same thing, no? We can also consider case studies in terms of the different variables that we are studying, no? So case studies involve detailed examination of single subject or case to explore complex issue, as mentioned in the previous slide or lesson, which includes the selection of case, collecting data through various methods and analyzing the findings. And at the same time, its advantages and disadvantages would be insightful and useful of hypothesis generation and not generalizable and not time-consuming. Even document analysis can be applied in terms of considering the variables of your study. Always remember, guys, if there is a variable, it can be through quanti or quali. No, it somehow depends into the title that is being presented. Okay. Document analysis involves examining existing documents to gather data, includes reports, letter, emails, transcript, and official records, and of course, cost-effective and potential bias for disadvantages and also limited context. The same thing with the field note. Just to summarize this slide, it's more into the observation of what's going on with the field for its extraneous part. Content analysis, just to summarize this one again as part of studying of your variables, it's more into context and thematic analysis, no? Or it includes as well with the patterns being identified of your study. Mixed method or MMR, the same thing, no? As mentioned, no? You can use MMR in terms of selection, in terms of manipulating your variables or even studying your variables. Mixed method research. Okay, so don't get confused. The introduction of your variables is applicable to studies of quanti and quali. Okay, but usually these variables are quantifiable. It's more into quantitative study. Because sometimes, mga good guys, kung quali siya, it's there come a time na it's more into question and answer portion. Okay, say for example, phenomenological study, phenomenological study, no? Unsa man na siya, you're trying to know the lived experience, okay? Sometimes what you're studying are not anymore considered as variable, but the lived experience of your respondents, okay? However, we can't say po na with quali, there would be no variables that are being studied na gihapon. Because there come a time po nga with quali, there might be a little bit of questions nga check lang siya just to make sure, no, to validate, no, or to check if this is really applicable based on the thrown question of qualitative study. Murag nagkuha lang kagamay na information sa imong respondents through checking, no? Mura lang kag nag-survey niya. Pwede po na siya. Pero the study is more into quali, ha? Dili siya mixed method. Nalang siya gamay. You also have to interpret that through statistical treatment. And it can be considered as a variable. It can be an extraneous variable of your study. No? Murag wala lang siya gamit, pero needed na nato siya kay para lang jud makita nato ang dihang manipulative effect sa ato ang study. Okay? Okay. So let's go and proceed with lesson 4. Okay, so these are the sources of measurement errors. So measurement errors refer to the discrepancies between the true value and the observed value. So we also have to consider we have to understand no, and minimize measurement errors because this is crucial in ensuring accuracy and reliability of research findings. Okay. And of course, our main objective is to cover different types of measurement errors, their sources and strategies to minimize them. So when we talk about measurement errors, these are discrepancies between true value and the observed value in research. So what does it mean? So when we talk about true value, these are values that are being produced during the statistical treatment. Okay. However, there might be no observed value in the research, which can be considered as error. Why? Because when we talk about error, mura siya misimang, no, we are not expecting that it would somehow happen during the statistical analysis. Mahibong ka na ang question is, okay raman siya, dili siya negatively worded question. Pero ngano ka ha, nga na jud siya yung error. Kabaw na po, ano. Basic pag-answer ani niya, no? Simang jud siya pag-answer, check lang ang imuhang respondent. Muna akong gitingon, no? In the previous slide, na mugawas yun siya sa statistical treatment, kay musimang man siya sa tanan. Ang tanan kay nasa mga 3.98, na yung uban kay 3.6, yung anong siya naaman sa 2 or 1. Ubus man kaayo, contradicting man kayo sa what we are expecting based on the hypothesis at the statement of the problem because of biases. Now, so types of error. Measurement errors can be broadly categorized into random errors and systematic errors. No? So random errors, makakita ka, mo lang gitanaw, that there are some errors that don't coincide with the item analysis. Systematic error, siguro wrong ang statistical treatment niya. Okay? So importance of distinction, that is why guys, you have to consider, no, a statistician who is really familiar of nursing. Also na siya importante. And try to distinguish between random and systematic error, which helps identify their sources and implement appropriate corrective measures if it can be. However, it's already been done. No? Ni answer naman dyan ang mga respondents na di na dyan na mo siya mausap. What we're going to do man, sir, nga error man siya. Then you have to discuss it in your chapter 3 for the limitations. Okay, meaning to say that there are certain measurement errors which came out during the statistical interpretation and results and interpretation. When in fact, we're not trying to expect that it will happen, but due to biases, no, errors can't be prevented. But it's minimized, okay? Random errors are unpredictable, fluctuating and it affects the measurement results, and at the same time, often due to external factor. So what are the common causes? Environmental changes, no? Tendencies, and kapuyan ako ano niya, hindi lang ko mo answer kay init kayo, no? Slight variation in the measurement techniques. So statistical treatment, it also depends into what? The scale of the statistician, okay? Inherent variability in system being measured. Okay, so usually wrong ang iyahang tool na gigamit, no? Wala nag-coincide sa pag-run niya. Lahi jud kay nigawas, no? Ang student po, basta ka-interpret lang po, kaya na siya mga numbers. Okay? So examples and impact, these are examples of variation in temperature affecting electronic equipment or slight differences in human response times, no? Random errors can be obscure, true results, and make data less reliable. So kung na siya error ma-identify, medyo makaingon na jud na kung nang gidali-dali or jud nga research for the sake na lang jud nga na sila research, no? Systematic error are consistent, repeatable errors associated with faulty equipment or flawed experimental design. So systematic, this includes into the experimentation. So say for example, no, imong git-check the consistency of how the equipments are doing well in the, for example, medical ward. Okay? And then it turned out that one of the equipment doesn't have proper battery. So it has a faulty equipment and it's not that efficient, no? It's not that effective anymore. It's because the battery is already defective. Okay, so it can cause error during the results and interpretation. So it's either we minimize that error by reducing that, imo na siyang tangtangon, di mo siya paapilon sa research, or kung ganahan jud kag mo gawas na nga tinuon jud, it's because we also have to consider the intervention of having interventional plan nga dapat ayo tanan infusion pump. It can be suggested to the management that dapat ipaayod jud as part of your treatment sa imuhang research, then pwede ra pud siya. Okay? And also, some of the causes would include calibration issues, bias sampling method, and inconsistent human error, sure, no? Because we are trying to manipulate. Remember, guys, errors can be manipulated. Okay? There are no errors if it's not being manipulated by humans, no? Examples and impact. So this includes miscalibrated scale that always reads too high, systematic errors that can lead to biased result and affect the validity of the research. Okay? So instrument error, this is the error of your questionnaire. So the instrument error occurs due to issues with measuring instrument themselves, no? Common causes include poor calibration, no? Unsa man ni siyang poor calibration. So instead of having a 4-point Likert scale, unsa man ang 4-point Likert scale? For example, strongly agree, agree, disagree, strongly disagree. Imong giputangan og ikalima. Strongly agree, agree. Nga, ang tunga-tunga is undecided. Ang imuhang sunod is disagree and strongly disagree. So tanan, no? Tanan mo answer sa mga instrument, ato siya sa undecided, ato siya sa safe siya 3. That is why kabantay mo guys nga most of the Likert scale is just 4-point Likert scale because it can somehow produce error. Another thing for the instrument, it was not validated with expert. Gamugna lang ang estudyante, wala jud patanaw og expert. Sir, mahal man gud kaayo mo bayad og expert panel to review. It will take around 2,000 for expert panel no to review our questionnaire na gihimo. Kay part of content validity index o kana siya. So wala siya na review of expert. Wala nakuha ang Cronbach Alpha, wala na pilot test. Imong gidiretso hatag sa mga estudyante without doing pilot testing. Okay, so that can also be considered, no, as the wear and tear. And also another example, manufacturing defects, no. So for example, with the instrument, ang calibration sa instrument sa infusion pump dili sakto. Usa na siya. Okay, another example. Kani siya kung dili mo experimentation katong questionnaire ha, kay apil man to siya sa mga instrument. Kung instrument kung kag experimental nga gusto ka mo tanaw sa mga equipment, for example, kaning thermometer, inaccurate siya kay walay battery. Diba dapat included na siya sa atong circle that your thermometer should not be weak or the battery should not be weak, no? Because if it's weak, it will produce a what type of result? Bias result. Pwede siya gamay, pwede siya taas. No? Hindi na siya sakto. Inaccurate data na siya. Okay? So those are experimentation versus your quantitative measures. Ako lang mong ihatagan pong idea ha, sa quanti kay most of you are doing quanti o ang taga-experimental. Observation error, kani siya. Wrong observation nimo, no? Bati na hinanay mo ang results and interpretation. That's also part of the biases. Okay? That includes lack of training, data train. Ang imo lang suwat-suwat ka. The patient is lively. The respondent was lively, very communicative. Ana lang ka. No? So, it can lead to personal biases as well, and even fatigability on your end. Examples would include recording data incorrectly. So, may mahitabo, mag-recording na lang ka, wala ka kita niyan, nung na siya, no? Wata ka ba, ga-interview ka niya, dito nagka-on-day siya. Kaya mo raman siyang gitawagan through telephone. Wa man jud mo siya gi-face to face or even through Zoom. Nag-Zoom lagi pero wala camera. Sige na lang, sir, lisod jud kistanan kay di mo sa ganan. You respect man sa namo iyang right, yan siya mag-open og cam. Okay na siya. Sige, no problem on that. But of course, there might be some errors already of observation. Because you will be asked by the panelists, so what do you think is happening aning nga time? So, depende na sa mong lusod on how you're going to explain it, no? Kung tinuod siya dyan pa na nag-interview, kaya pasig wala around, yung interview, imura ka groupmate, no? Hugyaw. Okay, observer's error can introduce bias and reduce data reliability. Environmental errors, these are errors in accuracies in measurement caused by external environment. Heavy ang noise, heavy ang init, walay lighting, no? Pang ang suga. Hindi ka makita niya, ngit-ngit kay stand na, no? Nag-open lagi camera pero against the light, kana siya. So, most of the examples that were mentioned can somehow introduce, no? Errors, no? And also reduce the reliability of the data. Participant error, kaning siyang participant nimo, check lang kay kung check, no? As mentioned earlier, no? Wala siya igon na kapuyan man ko kay wala man ipasnak ang mga researcher. Check ka na lang ni day. Or kung di gani, day, yung manghod may pansin, chiki lang na din ha. Isa man nakasuwayan na, okay? So, misunderstanding of instruction. Instead nga checkan kay iyahang circulan, instead nga ang number 1 is strongly disagree, iyang gi-check tanan ang number 1. O error na dayon na during running, simang na dyan na siya. Wa man ibasa sa instruction. Di sa taka-blame nila guys. No? Wa sila ibasa sa instruction. Kaya wa man kasi lang kilid. Kaya kung napa lang kasi ilang kilid, makayo ko, alo sir, tinuon dyan ni sir nga kung ano siya strongly disagree. More siguro sa iyo. Kay na-check ni mo 1. Basig 4 ni. Ay, di wrong day ko ma'am. O ana ba, no? Kay uban na ba yan, no? Ihatag lang sa kung ano. Kasi matunulan para mahuman. Okay? Kaya pressure ng Sir Pizarra, kaasa na daw me. Okay, examples and impact include participants skipping questions or providing false information. Participant error can skew result and lead to incorrect conclusion. Okay, so dapat matimingan ni muna siya na wrong na ganyan na answer. Sir, pwede ra ba nga di na mo siya apilon? Unfair man po, pati siya kay imo ba siyang gipa-answer, imo jud siyang apilon. Okay, kung mugawas gani siya, imo tong ibutang dito, imo jud siyang i-discuss. The respondent answered blah 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 blah. The reason why ana mugawas jud ba na sa inyong conclusion and results, no, of the study. So make sure na you're also responsible of what you're doing. Sampling error, imong tan-awon, no? Ang imuhang population pwedeng daghan na ang nasa second year, third year, or fourth year na imong gusto eksperimentuhan, pero ang imuhang sample napurang, ha? Sa takadaghan na second year nganong napurang man, di lagi sila ganahan. So that can lead to error because of statistical treatment. You cannot generate data statistically. Gamay kaayo. Okay? So one thing that you have to consider during your proposal is that is it feasible? No? Do you think that it can somehow suffice the number of respondents to answer your questionnaire? Because if we're going to base it with Mark and Crengy's table, na siya specific. So for example, na sa mga 1,000 kapi ng population sa first year, ang gingon ni Mark and Crengy, dapat makabutang ka ni para makakonclude ka, makaabot kag 300 to 400 per unit ang generation sa imong data. Ngayon mo dyan ba nang i-follow based on what the panelists are recommending. So kung may nga nag-200 nga students, imong pa on 200, should. Di should pwede nga dili 200. Okay? Pero sir, out of mga 500, ang 200, di man should. Ang 500, ka 100 naman, so anto na nimo ibutang sa discussion. Okay? Kana. So, common causes include non-representative samples. Gamay ra kay sample, no? Usahay na po, 20, 30, no? Di na siya pwede maka-generate jud guys of data. Sampling bias and errors in the sampling process. So, say for example, randomize ka. Kasi ka randomize, nga usara rin ka check. No? So, ang mga samples, kay usara rin ka check sa 30 ka questionnaire. Okay? So, that can also lead to error. Tanan kay 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Not one time no na nag-panel ko, perfect score of 4. Wala jud siya 3.9. Imposible jud guys na walay mo si mga mag-check og 3 instead of 4 tanan. Di jud ko motuo. Na jud na 3, 2, 1. Nasakpan man kay puro 4. Wasn't a question on statistics. Of course, I'm just a statistician. I will not mean as to what is going on with your collection of data or collecting of data. No? Di naman na sila mo mind as statistician. Basta i-run na lang dyan na nila and then they give you the numbers and then they'll give you a hint as to which particular part that you're going to focus on with the interpretation. Examples include only a specific demographic group for a survey, sampling error can lead to bias result and affect the generalizability of the findings. So if I'm the panelist, I would really consider total enumeration. So tanan jud akong pastudihan, no? Dili lang kaingon nga section section C1, C2, C3 of third year nursing student for our study. Do you think that those who belong to C1, C2, C3 would really participate? What if only one will participate? No? So mas maayo nga total enumeration because part of the exclusion, pwede naman sila dili mo participate, wala rin pong sanay, di naman siya na mag-go-all-ad na. At least, daghan pa kag makuhaan nga sample. No? Kana, no? Kung ingon ana inyong chapter 1. Processing errors. Data processing errors occur during the handling, analysis, or recording of data. And common causes include data entry mistake, coding error, and incorrect data transformation. Yung mga transcript, no? Di ka kabaw mag-in-English, so wrong na dayon, okay? Or kundi gani, wala ka kabaw sa terms. Or kundi gani, ang imuhang pag-statistical pag-process ni motor statistic in your SPSS, no? Is wrong. Kana siya, tapod na. Bayad na mo, yamar na po tagbalik sa statistician ni iparan, bayad na po kaniya ato, no? Examples include miscalculating statistical results or inputting data incorrectly, and data processing error can lead to incorrect conclusions and affect the validity of the research. So, di na siya reliable o valid kay ang mga data nagkadaiyang naman, ang bali-bali naman pag-statistics, no? Or pag-process na wrong na dayo, no? Na jumble-jumble na din mo ang imong transcript during the quali study. Kanilang answer is na ni respondent 2, na siya ni respondent 3, GGP, no? Gulo-gulo na siya tanan. And also, we need to minimize these errors. No? In terms of minimizing errors, this involves implementing strategies in order for us to reduce it. No? So what are our strategies? We have to include proper calibration of instrument. It should be well pilot tested, as mentioned earlier. Training of observers for students. No? Karon we're chika-chika lang sa pag-observe. No? We're trained to be mahimantayon ba yan? No? Daan pa na sa itong assessment, no, na head to foot to na ito ang atong patient. How much more sa mga respondent? Mind you, come observe if you're doing quali. Because if it's quanti, no need for you to observe man. Check naman siya. Pwede naman ka na sa Google form, no, or tawag-tawag lang ka if needed. Pero kung quali, observe jutta, no? Standardized procedure and even ensuring environmental control for experimentation. And its importance and significance is to reduce measurement error, which is crucial for improving the validity and reliability of the research finding. Accurate measurement. This is essential for obtaining valid and reliable research. This include, no, the benefit would include credibility, no? That's why it's very important for us to properly measure. Diba sing makaingon ay, di man siya sakto. Klaro ra jud kani siya nga for final defense lang para mahuman na tanan, no? Di na siya pwede i-publicate kay mugna man tanan, no? Always remember, guys, that I'm challenging, no, my group to at least, no, publicate your output, no? I'll be willing to help you with your publication, no? I will be guiding you on that. And enhance reproducibility of studies, no? Very important, no? Nasa ilaing mga tao, namutanaw si Musolo, nindot na gini nga study. Ako kani siyang study sa ang hospital. Mananghit ko sa group leader, si Kuan Mandeni. Sige, tawagan ni nato, kaya naman sila curriculum vitae. No? Ang curriculum vitae na yung phone number, mananghit ta, kung pwede ba din nato gamitin nilang instrument. No? So, mura na po kag author, kaya nakaproduce naman ka. Dapat yung kapananghiran. Kana ako ma-publicate. Pero kung wala na-publicate, guys, yun siya pwede nga pananghiran po ka. No? Pwede na po, as a sign of courtesy, pwede na mag-email na lang shoot para sure, no? Nanghid na lang po nga. Ikaw as a researcher. However, if you will not be able to publicate it, meaning to say, dili siya recognize. No? And mausa na siya ang disadvantage. Inaccurate measurement can lead to faulty conclusion, wasted resources, and diminished trust in research. Sayang ang imong gibuhat kung daghan kay sayo. Okay? So review the different sources of measurement errors and their impact on research. And we also emphasize the importance of implementing strategies to reduce measurement error. And accurate measurement is crucial for validity and reliability of research finding. And we have to have continuous efforts to improve measurement techniques, which are essential. Okay, let's proceed with lesson number 5. Okay, we'll proceed because it's already 10:19. Okay, so reliability in research refers to the consistency and stability of measurement over time. So in nursing research, it's important that we ensure this one, that findings are dependable and can be replicated. When you say replicated, this can be used, no? Since it's really a reliable research, you can use it for further studies of longitudinal studies. Ana. Kay di man siya bugna, nga murag ni agi, gamay raman siya og kanang error sa measures niya or measurement of errors is reduced. So, pwede ka siya replicated. So, sir, does it mean di ay, sir, kanina ay mga libro karon sa library, pwede na po today na amo na mong studyhan karon? What do you think? Yes, you can. That's what you call replication. We are not saying that you should duplicate, kay plagiarize na sa tuan na, no? That is why, guys, in the significance of the study, one of the significance of the study that is being provided with the researchers are the future researcher. No, sa kinalasan, baka bantay mo, ana. So, meaning it can be replicated if it turned out that the measurement of error is okay o wala siya mga values nga bati na nigawa sa research. Okay? Sir, pwede na po, nga naman, because it would somehow change the methodology of the study. For example, that particular research in the library that you find, in the library, you found a study and the study was conducted in a different tertiary level school. Now, your environment will be here in Southwick. So, dako kag diferensya, methodology na lang naan in terms of environment, lahi na. So, imo magipangita po na study are the students in Southwick. Wala man sila sa same school na iyang gibuhatan. Okay? And mo yun siya, pareho raman, Southwick lagi hapon, Southwick lang sa siya. The question is the year. No, kato siya nga year, basig na pa to siya sa 2005, unsa na taron 2024, basig it's already that time for us to check na po and to see if the instrument can somehow be related to what is going on right now in the future as part of the longitudinal study of the previous research. So sir, pwede raman di ay may pag nangita na namin sa library. Umuna akong gisuggest karon sa akong mga student. They have to find a tool first in the library and then they'll consult me and then make the statement of the problem. That easy. And then they're gonna make the introduction based on the variables that are studied, also the theoretical framework, and some parts of the study, literature. Apil na po. Mag-change po ng literature, guys. Why man? Ang literature ato kana sa 2,000. Nga ato ang literature karon sa 2024, it should not be more than 5 years, right? So inana po siya. Okay? So objective, lesson will be covering types of reliability, factors affecting it, and methods to improve reliability in nursing research. So reliability refers to the degree to which an instrument consistently measures a variable over time. So that means to say that your instrument is reliable. Na-study na siya previously sa previous research. Balik-balik na dyan itong topic. Okay? Reliability is assessed through various statistical methods, such as calculating the correlation between measurements, or getting the Crumbach alpha, or getting the average of your content validity index. Later on, we'll be discussing that in the upcoming lessons for lesson 6 to 10. Natay gamay computation. Consistency, a reliable measurement, yields the same result under consistent condition, reducing the variability in the data. So, importance, we have to ensure consistency. Because if it's reliable, it ensures that the findings are consistent and reproducible. Meaning to say nga, pwede dyan siya mabasa sa ubang tao. And are leading to dependable nursing practice. Meaning to say, if it's more into the nursing practice or nursing field, pwede dyan nato siya magamit sa ato ang current conditions sa nursing, Pwede ni siya paliton kung naay ganahan sa imong study kay reliable man jud kay siya. Na it seems like nga ganan siya sa imong study, ilang ipa-implement sa ilang hospital, bayran lang ka, no? So pwede. Improving patient outcome, reliable measurement and data contribute to evidence-based practice, improving patient care and outcome. So that means to say that patients are well satisfied based on what you're doing. Because at the end of your research, guys, it doesn't end there. You have to give as well copy of the institution that you are studying. So say for example, in Southwest or in Southwest Medical Center, dapat muhatag ka na ko o copy in our nursing office, in our chief nurse office, no? Dapat ingon ana unta. Pero what is happening right now? After research, wala na. Dili gani magpa-bookbind ang mga student o orange hardbound, no? But right now, no grade if there will be no book-binded book, no? And also, the burned CD. Na, apil na siya. Okay? Professional integrity, maintaining high reliability, and research uphold the integrity and trustworthiness of the nursing profession. So makaingon jud ta nga if it's a reliable study, it can really contribute to nursing o di lang siya basta-basta. That is why we're also encouraging students to present it to conferences, no? Yung nagpaminawon kasi hindi lang buta makadaog, maka-present ng good ta, that's already a good achievement. At least one from Southwestern University, no, FINMA, naka-present with certain presentation din no, inter-school presentation. Okay? Retest reliability. So measures the consistency of result when the same test is administered at different times. Test and retest is your pilot testing. So kung mag-pilot test na ka sa kabuok, dito ni mo sila pwede apilon. You will exclude them in your study na. If it's really seen nga ang Cronbach alpha during the treatment of statistics, ano nga per item is good, it's more than 0.6, 0.06 and above nga number, then it's already considered as reliable. Much better if we can somehow reach 0.80 or even 1, no? Kung 1 into siya pagkahimo sa ato ang student ka naghimo as a researcher. Okay? Inter-rater reliability, this is your validity index, content validity index, inter-rater reliability. No? So this assesses the arrangement between the different raters and observes measuring the same phenomena. Ang wording sa item na gihimo nato sa instrument, nindot ba? Ang parametric scaling, sakto ba? Nga upat lang? Ingon ana. Internal consistency evaluates the consistency of result across items within a test or measurement tool. Okay? And also, going to the test and retest reliability, this measures consistency of result when the same test is administered at a different point in time. So a very good example is when we're trying to assess the blood pressure reading from the same patient at different times to ensure consistency. Say, for example, every 4 hours measurement of the blood pressure of the patient. That means to say that it's consistent that within 4 hours, no, we believe that the blood pressure of the patient can be fluctuating as part of the reading, no? Imong tanawon sa alas 8, makita mo alas 12, saka pa ba or di upos? Or case-to-case basis, alas 8, pagka alas 10, ng patient direklamo, imo sa siya i-retest in terms of taking, kana siya. Importance, ensure that measurements are stable over time, indicating the reliability of the test and instrument being used. Inter-rater assesses the degree to which different raters and observers give consistent estimates of the same phenomena. So, ang mga raters na nasa mga more than 3, minimum of 2, more than 10, at least within 2 to 10 raters, pwede po siya. But kung makakuha tag-tulo lang kabuo, pwede ra ang tulo, no? Nalandyo tayo parametric scale na gipangitaan na during our computation. Later on, I will be discussing that, no? Example in nursing, multiple nurses independently assessing the patient's pain level using the same scale, okay? Of course, when we are trying to assess the pain scale of the patient, we do the numerical pain scale, 1 to 10. 10 highest, 1 lowest, no? So, tanan nag-measure ana with consistency. We have to ensure the measurements are not dependent on a single observer, increasing the reliability and objectivity of the data. So when we talk about internal consistency, it measures the extent to which items with a test are consistent in measuring the same construct. Okay, so this is a very good example for survey or questionnaire. When we try to assess nurse satisfaction of their job, where all items should be consistently reflect job satisfaction. Okay? So unsa man ang internal consistency kung unsa ang naa sa item or instrument about job satisfaction, all items found internally in the questionnaire should be job satisfaction. Basin mo si Mango, basin ang ito ni-consider ani kay retention instead of job satisfaction. No? Kana siya. Wala pa masag ko nakakita po so far nga ang iyang topic or iyang variable is job satisfaction. Example, o nga, simang ang iyang mga items. Related yun siya actually tanan. Okay? Importance, no? That means to say that we're ensuring items within the test are reliable and contribute to the cohesive measurement of the construct. Okay? Meaning to say, aside from it's reliable, it would somehow relate into the topic. Factors affecting reliability, of course, environmental factors such as the temperature, the noise, can impact measurement consistency. Another thing is the instrument factor. As mentioned, instrument is more into calibration issues, wherein there, guba na siya, quality of the measurement instrument affect reliability. Sometimes, if we are going to relate it with quantity, instruments such as the questionnaire, based on how it is being constructed, is also being noted. Okay, ato sa nang tanaw ang kanang gimugna nga questionnaire is not just the student who's making it. Did they consult expert to it? Or did they do pilot testing into it? Okay, and when you talk about participant factors, there's a variability in participant response due to the mood, fatigability, sa imong participant, kasi wala siya sa mood, apoy siya, misunderstanding, foreigner siya, that can somehow influence reliability as well. Standardized protocol, dili pwede nga mag-collect og data ani nga hospital. So, possible po, hindi nata pwede makadig in deeper, Standardized protocol to ensure consistency across different measurements and observer. Lahi ang protocol ani nga hospital, lahi ang hospital, lahi ang mga second year, kanis nga second year, lahi po ang special nga third year, ang regular nga third year, and thorough training, providing comprehensive training to researchers and practitioners to minimize variability in data collection. Okay, so there should be training and at the same time orientation, discussion, as what we're doing right now. When we talk about pilot testing, this is more into the reliability of the instrument. Why? Because we are trying to identify potential issues and refine measurement tools before full-scale studies. Before nyo mo siya i-full blast o hatag dito sa mga respondents. For example, second year, pilot testing, mag-select na sa napo. And out of the 10, i-run na ito statistic. And if it turned out to have a very good rating or good Cronbach alpha, tendency is you can reproduce copies for the second year student to answer it, except for those 10 who were piloted. Okay? So, a study on patient satisfaction with pain management technique using consistent measurement tools and method. Okay? Another case, research on nurse burnout, employing standard survey with high internal consistency. Okay? Number 1 is a use of pain scale. Number 2 is a use of questionnaire that they can answer. And of course, with best practices for this, it's more into highlighting the methodologies and practices that ensure reliability in nursing research. So a study focused on the reliability of patient pain assessment tools used in different hospital settings. But in our hospital, just to cite an example, we're using the Wong's pain scale, okay, and also the numerical pain scale. Now, and in terms of implementation of standardized pain assessment scale and training for nurses to ensure consistent use. So it's not just third floor is using it and even fourth floor. More or less, the entire department here in the hospital are using both scale. So what is the outcome if we're doing that? We improve the reliability of pain measurement all throughout the hospital and somehow would lead to more effective pain management if that's the case. Okay? And also patient satisfaction when their pain is being addressed. Participant variability, these are differences in the participant responses due to individual factors can affect reliability. And when you talk about environmental, then again, no noise, temperature, consistency changes, no resource limitation, limited access to the environment, or say for example with the equipment, wala ta, no? And also training, wala proper training in terms of how reliable they can get data in terms of their collection. Just to summarize, we've reviewed the importance of reliability, types of reliability, and methods to ensure reliability in nursing research. And we've emphasized the need of ongoing efforts to improve reliability through our training or what we're doing right now, standardized protocol and high quality instrument. And of course, reliable research is fundamental. Why? Because this can somehow advance the nursing practice. And of course, it can always improve patient care outcomes and satisfaction. Okay? All right. Questions so far from the group? Natay clarification, natay wala na sabtan. Pero almost most of the topic nagtuyok-tuyok lang ang ato ang thought, no? Murag mo balik ra gihapon jud ka sa mga instruments. Okay? On your lesson 6 to 10, I reviewed the lessons last week. Murag mo balik na punta sa instrument. Inana lang siya. No, why? Your lesson is more focused into the methodology. Okay? So, dili naman kita makadigin deeper sa environment, sa imong participants. It's more into the tool na ta as part of your chapter 1. Okay? And of course, statistical treatment, unya na siya kung makumanan siya. I suggest you guys, if we're doing statistics, no? I do have someone, no, statistician who can somehow treat your data. We can coordinate with him. He's actually part of our graduate school in the Master of Arts in Nursing program. No, pwede na to siya i-coordinate in terms of statistical treatment. Okay? So, anhilang natamat pa-treat niya kay para if na yung mga considerations sa panel, pwede na po na to siya matap dayon, no? Di na siya magpabayad og panel. Okay, questions? So how about you? How are you with your research? Any update? Give me an update.